We're going to set up a project that will report back to our main projects table view in our DAS Engineering Services portfolio. Click the Add Project button. We're going to use Create New Project. Here you can give the project a name and select a template. I'm going to use the Processing Center Replacement Roof project, which I submitted in 1105 for a few weeks back. I don't have a project number for it yet, so I'm going to use a placeholder project number. And for my template, I'm going to select the DEMIS ES project. This is a template I created for us to use. It should have a lot of the repetitive information set, though everything will need to be adjusted per project. From here, I can go ahead and click Create Project, and after a few minutes of loading, we will have a new project board. You'll see that the project has been added to our table as well as our navigation panel. I'm going to click it on the navigation panel, and that should take us to our new project board. You'll see it's populated with some information already. Everything you see here is built into the project template, so any new project you create from that template should appear like this. Let's start with the project overview. Up here at the top, next to our project name, we can click on Overview. You'll see a lot of information that gets represented on our portfolio template, portfolio table is shown here. Let's go ahead and fill some of this out. The project owner for the processing center roof replacement is going to be me, so I'll select my name here. And while my project is actually off track right now, for the sake of training, I'm going to click on track and show you how to change that in another location later. For the priority, I'm going to set this as a medium. And since I've already submitted the 1105, we'll call this in progress. For my planned timeline, I submitted the 1105 on March 27th. So for the start date, I'll fly back to there. And for an end date, after construction is all said and done, I'm thinking this will probably be sometime like July 2026. I'll just select the end of the month there, and you'll see it automatically tells me how many days this project is going to last. We don't need a project summary just yet, but I am going to fill out a project description. For this document, we don't really need the full project description, but um, perhaps a summary of what you added to the 1107 or 1105 that you submitted to DAS should go here. I'm going to go with replace the membrane roof, which has required ongoing annual repairs for the last several years. Analyze roof structure to meet new loads and support new interior ceiling planned in future renovation project. Finally, I'm going to set the location for the project. Processing center is on our CVH campus, so I can go ahead and click there. Ooh, and we get fun little fireworks. You'll notice up top we have some other views. For now, I'm not going to really do anything with these, but as the project moves along, there may be things you want to add. For example, when my 1105 is approved, I may save it somewhere and then upload it to monday.com so I have my document right here in the project. Let's head back to our project board. I'll close out of here by clicking the X in the top right corner. And this brings us back to our main project board. Now I mentioned my project is actually off track. So right next to overview, I'm going to go ahead and change that to off track. And this should give me a little notification in the bottom corner here. And it will also notify me in my notifications at the top right. I am going to add a note as to why my project is off track so that anyone who views this project board can figure out what is going on. DAS is taking longer than anticipated to review the 1105. I can publish that note, and I don't believe I get a notification for that one, but I do get a message up here that says the note was added. Now, back to our project. The template comes preloaded with several tasks and dates. Many of these dates are dependent on previous tasks being completed. Monday.com is a little smart, not super smart, but a little smart. And because of the way the dependencies are set, if one task takes longer than expected, I can update that task and anything following will automatically update. Unfortunately, Monday.com is only a little smart, so it won't reset earlier dates if I shorten a timeline. So if I click the wrong thing, I may have a lot of tedious work resetting the subsequent dates. Obviously, not all projects are the same. Some may have fewer or just different or more tasks that need to be accomplished than what is shown on the table here. To change a task in the table, all you need to do is click on it and rename it. So I'll actually change my 11.9 number sign to 1105 in order to update it. There are other options for editing the tasks. If I click the ellipses right here, I have options like delete, duplicate, move, copy task link. Lots I can do here. I can also add subtasks to each of these tasks. For example, 1105, if I click the arrow, I can add a sub item of budget detail. And then that will allow me to set additional columns for additional information on that. I don't actually want to have that in there, so I'm going to delete it real quick, but that is how you would go about it. Additional tasks can be added to each table by clicking in the Add Task and simply adding whatever task you want to do here. And you'll see that automatically adds a row to our table where we can then fill out all the subsequent column information. For now, the preset tasks should do just fine for our project. So I'll begin by adding myself as the owner. And since the 1105 is submitted, I can go ahead and set that one to have a status of done. Ooh, more fireworks. And you'll see I get a notification for that. Now you'll notice in the completion date column, May 6th was automatically set as the completion date, as that is today. However, I actually submitted this again on March 27th, as I mentioned earlier. So I'll go ahead and just update that to March 27th. I'll change my project approval status, the current stage we're in, as the 1105 is with DAS, to working on it since it has not yet been completed. And I can add notes to each column, or sorry, to each row for the tasks to let people know, anyone who's viewing the board, what exactly is going on. Oh, I actually didn't notice we could add emojis before. That's fun. So this is a great place to list any concerns or decisions that have to be made. Additionally, comments can be added to each task as updates that will filter into any activity logs you create for the project. This is a feature you can use as an option as you determine how Monday.com best works for your workflow. Now, the dates in the timeline are the timeline dates preset into the template are not necessarily accurate to my project. They are just based on generic dates that DAS seems to use for a lot of the 1105 projects. And you'll also notice our dependencies column. So the dependency is always going to be set to a previous task. You'll notice that my proposal review is dependent on the project being approved. The project being approved is dependent on the 1105 being completed. So these dates are going to line up. You'll see, make that go away. May 4th comes after May 3rd. I can't have this proposal review start before the project approval date. Again, extending a timeline will push dependent tasks back, but shortening one will not bring them forward. So I'll start at the top and set my dates by clicking in the timeline for each task and selecting the date that is after the previous end date. At least in the design slash pre-construction section of my table here, the time frame shouldn't change drastically from what DAS usually sets, so I'm going to leave these alone for now. And of course, the construction can't really be known for sure until the contractor submits a schedule. But I'll update these values with an estimate so everyone looking at the board has an idea of what to expect. Again, you'll likely have to add or delete some tasks in each project, as every project is going to have some different requirements. Let's say, I don't know, May 6th to maybe June 3rd. And we'll go June. Oh, where's June? Here we go. June 4th to, let's say, June 30th. July 1st to the 11th. And let's say the 12th. Oh, that's April. July 12th through the 25th. You'll notice a budget column in our table as well. FSB will be involved with the financial portion of these project boards. We'll be incorporating this column and potentially others as they develop their process on Monday.com. Finally, our link column is what links us back to our project portfolio. So we're not going to touch that column pretty much ever, but just know it is there. Additional columns can be added by using the plus sign here. So if there's other information you want to track on your project, you can add more columns for those purposes. This is our basic project template. As each task is completed or other status changes, you can open the project board and make those adjustments. We'll also be using Monday.com to initiate new projects with a project intake request form. The next video will show you how that form will work.